Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Barden. We continue. As the rain falls. Again. Preparation of the simple fluid condenser. Take a handful of fresh or dry chamomile flowers. Put them into a pot and pour so much cold water over them until they are covered completely. Let the chamomile flowers boil for about 20 minutes. Cool them, but leave the lid on the pot and strain the decoction. Put this on the fire again and allow it to decoct slowly to about 50 grams. A few drops more or less do not matter at all. Let the extract cool and for better preservation mix it with the same quantity, in our case with 50 grams of spirit or alcohol. If necessary, you may take fuel alcohol too. To this mixture, add about 10 drops of your gold tincture. If you wish to use the condenser for your own purposes, you may still strengthen it by adding a drop of your blood or sperm, if possible both together, on a swab of cotton wool. Throw this afterwards without any scruples into the condenser and shake the lot well. Then pour all in a funnel through filter paper or linen into a small bottle and keep it, well corked, in a cool and dark place, ready to use. Any fluid condenser which has been prepared in this manner does not lose its efficiency even after many years. The condenser must be well shaken each time you are going to use it. The bottle is to cork again after withdrawing some out of it. In the same way, you can prepare several universal condensers from Russian or genuine Chinese tea from lily blossoms. Best are the white ones. Popular leaves. Oleron roots or mandragora roots, arnica, montana, acacia flowers. Any simple fluid condenser prepared from one plant is sufficient for normal use, such as influencing through the elements or developing the astral senses by means of the fluid condensers. The compound universal fluid condenser. To achieve extremely strong accumulations of power or perform tasks which are destined to produce not only a mental or astral influence but also a material one as well, for example creating elementaries in brackets wax loam figure, animation or paintings and other materialization phenomena, we are using the compound fluid condenser consisting of the following herb extracts: Archangelica officinalis, Salvia officinalis, lime tree flowers, cucumber skin, melon seeds, acacia blossoms or leaves, chamomile flowers, lily flowers, leaves or roots, cinnamon flowers or cinnamon bark, leaves of urtica, doica, leaves of mentha, piperita, popular leaves, leaves or flowers of viola odorata, ossia, leaves or bark, tobacco, green or dry. These three kinds of preparation are important to be known. The first and most simple is to put equal parts of the mentioned plants into a bigger pot, pouring water over them and boiling them slowly for about half an hour. Afterwards, cool off, strain and boil all to the point that it turns out as thick as possible. Now add the same quantity of alcohol or spirit as you have got of the extract. Pour a few drops of gold tincture into it, 10 drops to 100 grams, eventually blood or sperm or both. Shake it well and strain the liquid through a fine sieve into a dark coloured bottle, green or brown. Cork this bottle and keep it in a dark place. The second kind of preparation is as follows. Put the herbs at equal parts into a glass bottle, preserving glass or bottle, preserving glass or bottle, pour pure alcohol over them until all the herbs are covered with it, and allow it to extract for about 28 days in a warm spot. Now press it through linen or any other kind of a press, filter it, and corresponding to the volumetric measure, add the gold tincture to it, eventually your own mamie, to blood and sperm, then fill all into bottles and keep them for your personal use. Add no more alcohol to this extract because of its preservation. One of the best methods of preparation is, of course, to treat each herb or plant separately, whether in the described manner of the simple fluid condenser, chamomile, or else one makes herb extracts from spirituous extracts. After the separate extracts have been well prepared, mix them together, add the gold tincture and guard it. One operates in the same way with the other 4 special fluid condensers destined to influence by the elements. The plants necessary to it are, for the fire element, onion, garlic, pepper, mustard seed or grains of mustard. Comment: the fluid condenser must not come in touch with the body, first of all, nor with the eyes because of their sensitivity. For the air element, hazelnuts, leaves or bark will do as well, juniper berries, rose blossoms or leaves of it, cherry leaves or bark. For the water element, oats, finely chopped straw of oats can be used too, rapeseed of different kinds, eventually turnip, sugar beet, etc., peony blossoms or leaves of it, cherry leaves or bark. For the earth element, parsley, roots, leaves or seed, caraway seed, plantago lanceolata, broad or long leaves, carnation flower or balm mint. From the point of view of a layman, the recipes quoted here will certainly appear as a dreadful pell-mell. Never heard that before. Pell-mell. And from the pharmacological standpoint, one might describe them as pure nonsense. But the matter in question here is not pharmacologic, but the magic effect. The eyes of expert practicants who know the secret significance of plants, which are so very mysterious, will detect the correct connection by intensive meditation. One could compose hundreds of recipes on the base of analogies, but this outline ought to meet the requirements of the magician. All the recipes given here do originate in practice and have produced fine results up to now. Before I am going to bring the problem of the fluid condensers to an end, I will throw some light on another alchemistic theme which is linked to it. I mean it leads on to the next section. Let me just check that page 199, page 200. Yes. Life elixirs. One moment while I wet my whistle. Praise the Lord for tea. Life elixirs. The so-called genuine alchemistic life elixirs are nothing else but marvellously composed fluid condensers which have been produced in analogy to the elements and the 3 levels of human existence. In accordance to them, they have been magically loaded. For the mental sphere, there are used essences. For the astral sphere, tinctures. And for the material sphere, salts, eventually extracts, all of them loaded in the corresponding ways. Elixirs produced in conformity with them consequently influence not only on the material body of man, but on his astral and mental bodies as well. Such an elixir is, therefore, not only a good remedy, but an excellent and dynamic regenerative too. Therefore, the elixirs of sincere alchemists are nothing else but exquisite fluid condensers. Preparation of a solid fluid condenser. Since in the next step I am going to describe the genuine mirror magic, that means the practical handling with the magic mirror, I shall teach the magician how to construct a magic mirror by himself. To manage this, he needs a solid fluid condenser, which consists of 7 metals. These are lead 1 part, tin 1 part, iron 1 part, gold 1 part, copper 1 part, brass 1 part, silver 1 part, aloe resin 1 part, animal charcoal 3 parts, mineral coal 7 parts. These different parts are not to be understood here according to their weights but volumetrically. Supposing you take 1 cubic inch brackets or 1 cubic centimeter of lead, you have got to take of all the other metals 1 cubic inch in brackets or 1 cubic centimeter. 2. The same applies to aloe and the 2 kinds of charcoal. All ingredients must be pulverized. Softer metals like lead and tin can be pulverized with a crude file into the so-called filings. And as for the harder metals, take a finer file. The resin aloe must be crushed to, resin aloe, the aloe resin, must be crushed to powder in a mortar if one can't get it pulverized. You deal in the same manner with the 2 kinds of coal. As soon as all the ingredients have been put together, mix them well, and the mixture which you are obtaining by this procedure is, as a matter of fact, the real solid fluid condenser. The electromagicum of the alchemists is not any different at all. It is a superb fluid condenser composed from 30 grams of gold, 30 grams of silver, 15 grams of copper, 6 grams of tin, 5 grams of lead, 3 grams of iron, and 15 grams of quicksilver. As one can see, it contains all the planetary metals, and from this metal alloy, magic mirrors, bells, and similar objects have been made. The solid fluid condensers I have recommended are very good, reliable, and have many times proved useful. Preparation of magic mirrors. One moment. Preparation of magic mirrors. 2 kinds of magic mirrors exist: the concave mirror and the flat mirror. Normal mirrors are suitable for both kinds, which must be spread with silver amalgam or black lacquer, or covered with a liquid or a solid fluid condenser. For our magic purpose, the ones mentioned before are of a special value, and I will describe the production of these mirrors on the base of some examples. 1. For the magic mirrors produced in the most simple way with the help of a condenser, the surface of any mirror or of a bowl made of glass will be suitable. It must only be spread with a liquid or a solid fluid condenser. 2. Cut a circular disc from a plasterboard 8 to 20 inches in brackets 20 to 50 centimeters in diameter. The size depending on how big you want the mirror to be made. Now cut the same disc from a blotting or a filter paper, moisten or spread it several times evenly with a painting brush or a swab of cotton wool until it is saturated with the fluid condenser and let it dry. Glue the blotting paper onto the pasteboard disc, wait until dry, and the mirror is ready to use. Everybody will certainly be able to construct a mirror like this. Supposing somebody does not like the circular form, he may choose an oval or angular shape. You can put the mirror into a frame too if you like. The fluid condenser which is required here can be the simple one, but the compound condenser is more recommended. 3. The procedure of the third method is exactly the same, but here you have to cover the surface of the impregnated blotting or filter paper with a very thin layer of colourless lacquer and strew the entire surface with the pulverised solid fluid condenser. You can use a fine sieve. A mirror which is ready for using immediately after drying is the best magic mirror you could think of, because it contains both of the fluid condensers and is therefore especially useful for the practice. 4. Nor is the preparation of a parabolic or concave mirror complicated. From a glass factory or from a watchmaker, procure a curved glass such as is generally used for bigger clocks on the wall. An evaporation bowl will serve the purpose too. Now spread the side vaulted outwards several times with black spirit or nitro lacquer of the kind which is used for motor cars and contains acetone. It is drying very fast. Do you wish the mirror for optic clairvoyance? It will be sufficient to put it in a black wooden frame and the mirror is ready. But if you want to cover it with a fluid condenser, you have got to paint the inner side with a good colourless lacquer in a thin layer. Strewn the solid fluid condenser on top of it and let it dry. 5. Supposing excuse me. Supposing you would like to produce a magic concave glass mirror and you cannot obtain the concave glass, instead of the glass, take excavated wood or a piece of pasteboard which is easy to work with after moistening it. You can make a cheap concave mirror from loam, plaster to etc. The yellow loam or the plaster must be mixed with a liquid fluid condenser to render the mass kneadable. Now form the mirror with your hands, allow it to dry slowly so that no cracks appear. Supposing here or there some cracks show up, do smear them over with loam and let the shape dry again. Polish the completed shape of the mirror with emery paper to avoid rough spots and spread the concave surface of the mirror with colourless lacquer. Strew the condenser through a sieve on top of the varnished surface and let it dry again. Provided you did make an edge, you can lacquer it afterwards with a black nitro lacquer, as well as the backside of the shape. The mirror is now completed. As a matter of fact, such a homemade mirror happens to be more effective magically than the one made from glass, because it does own two very efficacious fluid condensers, the solid and the liquid one. The liquid condenser is in the loam and the solid one on the surface of the mirror. The only disadvantage is that such a mirror is much heavier and breaks easily. If after the preparation of the mirror there is anything left over the solid fluid condenser, keep it well, because it might come handy for other purposes. For example, for producing a magic rod, which you make from an elder branch, 12 to 20 inches, in brackets 30 to 50 centimetres in length. Drill a thin hole in its entire length and fill it with the solid condenser. Now cork the rod, seal it up and load it magically for different operations such as acts of volition, transference to living or other beings, exercising, etc. I will write about these problems in detail in my second volume, The Practice of Magical Evocation. Summary of all exercises. Step 8. 1. Magic mental training. 1. Preparation to mental wandering. 2. Practice of mental wandering. A. In the room. B. Short distances. C. Visits to friends, relatives, etc. 2. Magic psychic training. 1. The great now. 2. No clinging to the past. 3. Concentration disturbances as a compass of the magic equilibrium. 4. The astral body and the light. 5. Mastering of the electric and magnetic fluids. 3. Magic physical training. 1. Magic influence through the elements. 2. Fluid condensers. A. Simple condensers. B. Compound condensers. C. Fluid condensers for magic mirrors. D. Preparation of a magic mirror with the help of fluid condensers. End of step 8. Okay,